40 years ago, there was a young man from this community who at the age of 23 was a 1960 graduate of Cromer High School, was a part of a four-man Huey helicopter crew that disappeared in Vietnam on December 28, 1965. He was officially declared killed in action on December 29, 1966. But unfortunately, any signs of any remains were never recovered over a 40-year period. It wasn't until last year that the family, and Ms. Smith is here, gained some closure in terms of what happened to their brother from Spartanburg. Family wondered whether Mr. Rice had been captured, whether he was a prisoner of war, if he had died in a crash, or he had been taken in some unknown manner. Family wondered forever. 2006, those efforts in terms of organizations that would work to find similarly situated individuals began successful efforts. And last year, there was a group burial service for Mr. Rice and his crewmates that was held in our most prestigious and honorable cemetery for fallen service members, the Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. And to recognize there were other members of the Huey 808 crew. They included Army Chief Warrant Officer Kenneth L. Stansel of Chattanooga, Tennessee, Chief Warrant Officer Jesse D. Phelps of Boise, Idaho, and Specialist Donald C. Griller of Laurel, Nebraska. After this collective group service, the remains of Soldier Rice were buried in Arlington. I've known Mr. Cromer for a few years, and this young man let me know that he was a part of an organization that recognizes both our POWs, or prisoners of war, and those who are missing in action. And at the time we began having conversations, I didn't know he knew Ms. Smith. And Ms. Smith and I began having conversations shortly thereafter the memorial service that was held here in terms of the funeral for her brother in Spartanburg, and after he was buried in Arlington, in terms of efforts of just having the community know that this great man had died in service of his country, and that he was from Spartanburg. So with that, I want to present a resolution, and I know Mr. Cromer coming his own way, but I'm going to present this resolution to Ms. Smith. Rolling Thunder worked hand in hand with Ms. Smith and her family. And I see other family members are here today, and I just want to say thank you for being here. But in particular, I want to read this resolution. Recognizing Rolling Thunder Incorporated, South Carolina Chapter 2, and its efforts to support and educate citizens about the prisoners of war and those missing in action. Whereas, through all wars, Spartanburg County sons and daughters have answered the call of their nation to defend our freedoms in foreign lands. During these wars, many have paid the ultimate sacrifice. Many have returned home wounded, and others have been held as prisoners of war, or have been classified as missing in action. Whereas Rolling Thunder Incorporated, South Carolina Chapter 2, is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to publicize the POW MIA issue, to educate the public that many Americans were left behind after all past wars, and to help correct the past and to protect the future veterans from being left behind should they become POW or MIAs. Whereas Rolling Thunder Incorporated was instrumental in the passage of Public Law 101-355 during the 101st session of Congress to designate the National League of Families POW MIA flag as a symbol of our nation's concern and commitment to resolving as fully as possible the fates of Americans still prisoner, missing, and unaccounted for in Southeast Asia, thus ending the uncertainty for the families and the nation. Now therefore be it resolved that the Spartanburg County Council does hereby encourage us all to honor those who gave, all, to remember those who were held captive, and to remember the families of our mission in action, and to live by the motto, we will not forget.
Amen.
Be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be presented to Faye Smith in recognition thereof and be made part of the permanent minutes of the Spartanburg County Council adopted this 17th day of October 2011. Signed by County Council Chairman Jeffrey A. Horton and tested by Nelson Marchioli, Interim County Administrator. Entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? In favor, raise your right hand. All opposed, in fact. Thank you very much, please.
Ms. Smith, thank you. Thank you.
On behalf of my family, I would like to thank the community for the support that was given to us once we were notified that the remains had been discovered 44 years later. Unfortunately, we lost our parents before we received an answer, but I'm quite sure they had the answer before we did. It's been a long battle. We never gave up hope because we were never given anything, so we always felt like we was maybe just a prisoner of war. With that being said, again, thank the community for everything and the people that reached out to us to help us get to Arlington for the services that we attended. And thanks again for the support. We will be renaming, if I'm not mistaken, Highland Avenue